In the 1980s, Ed Wernick was the biggest name in curling as a player. Warren Hansen was the biggest name in curling as a bureaucrat. And when Ed Wernick and Warren Hansen clashed, it was like comic opera. It was like nitro and glycerin.
Both of them love the sport, they just looked upon it in a different way.
They've basically taken a stranglehold of our game, and they don't have to answer to anybody.
It was what I represented and what I was trying to accomplish, and he didn't agree with it.
I couldn't stand him then, couldn't stand him later, and I can't stand him now.
I mean, how do you take a game that's viewed as a hobby and develop it all the way up into an Olympic sport? A lot of people just couldn't fathom that.
To go to the Olympics, it's not just a curler's dream, it's every athlete's dream because it's the biggest sporting event in the world.
The game was stuck between the old traditions and moving towards something new.
It was a battle for the soul of the sport. It was a battle for who was right. It was a battle of the curlers versus the bureaucrats.
If you're going to talk about curling in the 70s, you have to talk about drinking, because curling was based on the foundation of being a social sport.
There was ashes on the ice. There was ashtrays on the walkways between sheets.
How can this sport ever gain the acknowledgement and recognition it has to receive without proper officiating?
It was controversial. It infuriated a lot of people and a lot of curlers. Curlers were not happy.
God damn it! I want to see the head official now! Now!
I think we've convinced them now that we can help them to generate more money. And money talks in the IOC, believe me.
Eddie Wernick, Paul Savage, and a handful of others were going to have to lose weight, in some cases up to 20 pounds, before they were going to be allowed to show up at the Olympic trials.
The very strange thing that happens, in my opinion, is for the third time, the Program Commission again recommended that the sport of curling not be a medal sport. Mr. Juan Antonio Samaranch looked them in the eye and said, I would suggest you go back and reconsider. And reconsider they did, because to my amazement and many others, the sport in June of 1992 became medal. And probably nobody will ever really know why.